Getting started today, what you're going to need is you're going to need some scissors. You're going to need a hook. I am using a 5.5 millimeter hook, or that's an eye hook. You can, of course, use larger or smaller, depending on what you have on hand or on what your preference is. If you use a smaller hook, your hat will be smaller. If you use a larger one, it will be larger. That is your preference. You will also want a needle so you can tuck in your tails at the end. And today I'm going to be using yarn that's a little bit different than what we've used before. Yes, you can see I got it from a thrift store at some point. But I am using Premier yarns and from the Deborah Norville collection, Serenity Chunky Weight. So Chunky Weight, here you can see the size. I'm using bulky or size 5 yarn. So this is a little bit thicker than what we have been working with. We've been working with size 4. You can, of course, do this pattern in size 4 yarn, especially if that's what you happen to have on hand. I will caution you, doing that instead of this one is just going to mean that your hat will be a little snugger. It's not going to be quite as large, which is not a problem, especially if you use a larger hook. Then you can adjust there. You can also add rows depending on how you need it larger, whether making it a wider hat or a longer one. But we'll talk about that as we go. Let's get started. You're going to start taking your yarn. We're going to make our slip knot. Quick review, take the tail end, wrap it over and then under, and we pull up that end holding the 2 ends. I will be moving faster in this video than I have in some of the previous ones, simply because if you have been following along, you should have learned how to make a slip knot. And if you need to review, I will link the other videos down below so you can go back and see how I explain that. And you're going to wrap your yarn around your fingers. We are ready to go. We're going to get started on our hat. Woohoo! We are going to chain 3. So 1, wrap the hook around, pull the yarn through, 2, once more, 3. We have chained 3 and you can see the stitches there. Now I'm going to go back into that first chain. So if you can either count backwards, 1, 2, 3, or you can just look at where your knot is. And I'm going to go into my loops there as best as I can, go through both, otherwise just one is fine. Grab the yarn, we're doing a slip stitch. I'm pulling the yarn through all the loops on my hook. Yay! And then I'm going to tug on my tail a little just to snug up that first stitch. Now we are going to chain up 2. So pull the yarn through once, wrap around, pull through twice. Wonderful. Now you're going to take your yarn and wrap that around your hook, or your hook around your yarn, and we are going to be going into the very center of this lumpy circle. I'm going in there and we are going to do some double crochets. So my yarn is around my hook. I'm going into the center, and I grab the yarn, pull it through the center. Now I have 3 loops. Wrap the yarn around and pulling it through the first 2. Pull through 2 loops, wrap the yarn around again, pull through another 2 loops. Hey, that was our first double crochet. Doing another double crochet, wrap the yarn around or the hook around the yarn, go into your hole, pull the yarn through, wrap the yarn around, pull it through top 2 loops, wrap the yarn around, pull it through the next 2 loops. Excellent! Now we are going to be going through and we are going to keep doing double crochets, excuse me, and we want to get 12 of them. Yes, we want 12 all the way across, and it's going to get a little snuggly as we finish up doing all 12 of them. And I periodically will pull on the tail of the project just to make sure that first stitch stays nice and snug until we move on. After this first round, it won't matter so much. It's just the first round that it can be sometimes a little... Sometimes that first stitch can kind of loosen up. So, all right, now I've done a few of these and I'm going to pull on our loop that our hook was in and set that aside so I can count this without having to juggle the hook around. So counting my stitches, you can either look at the top where hopefully you have some nice looking stitches like this, and if they don't look perfect, that's okay, especially depending on the yarn you use. Or you can separate and where you have sort of a bar of yarn, if you will, you have these different pillars. Those are each of your stitches. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, we have 8 so far. I'm not counting my chain up 2 because I'm going to actually crochet over that. So I need to do another 4 double crochet. And we go in, we go 1 and 2, almost there, 3 and 4. Yay! Ooh, that one was getting a little tight there. All right, so as I said, my circle definitely got a lot tighter, but we have our lovely 12 stitches. And if you're unsure, feel free to go through and count them. I'm not going to count them because I just counted them all with you. We are ready. We are going to go into the stitch right here. So here is our chain up 2. 1, 2, which actually, let me grab my needle so I can show you. This was our first chain and our second chain. We are going over them and going in our first real double crochet. I'll explain what I mean by real at the end of the video, just when it comes to following along with patterns and terminology. And we are going to do a slip stitch in there. So going in, and we grab the yarn, pull it through, and pull it through. We pull it through all the loops there. And we have a very lovely little circle. This is going to be the start of our hat. Now I'm going to chain up 2, just as I did before. 1, 2. Ta-da! And I'm going to wrap my yarn around and double crochet in this same stitch right here. And go in, and I double crochet. Yay! Now I'm going to put 2 double crochet into the next stitch. So I have my yarn wrapped around already. Go in, pull the yarn through, double crochet, yarning over, pulling through 2 loops at a time. I'm sorry, I'm just getting my coffee now. It has been a little bit of an interesting morning. Wrap the yarn around, go into that same exact stitch as we just did, go through, grab the yarn, pull it through, wrap the yarn around, pull it through the top 2 loops, wrap the yarn around, pull through another 2. Yay! We're going to do another 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Wrap the yarn around, go into the next stitch, grab the yarn, pull it back through, wrap around, pull through 2 loops, wrap around, pull through 2 loops, wrap around the same stitch, go in, grab the yarn, pull it through, wrap around, pull through 2 loops, wrap around, pull through the next 2 loops. And we are going to continue to do 2 double crochet in each stitch. We want to get 24 in total. So I'm going to let you continue to do that. 2 double crochet in each stitch on your own. Just pause the video, come back, and I will meet you at the end of the row. And we'll go on to the next row. See you in a minute. So I just finished up my 2 double crochet in each stitch except this stitch right here. We will have to put 1 double crochet in that, and I have 23 stitches. Once I do the double crochet in here, I will have 24. So I'm going to do that double crochet right now so I have the full 24 stitches around. And as I said, you can do this in thicker or thinner yarn. That is completely your choice. Slightly larger, slightly smaller hook, same thing, your choice. You will get a similar size, but it will be slightly different. I will do a video at some point comparing different weights in yarn, but this isn't that video. Also, another thing, and I apologize, I'm just chattering so much before continuing with the pattern. You will see my color has changed here because my yarn has multicolors in it. This is what we call variegated yarn. And this just means that there's different colors that are dyed into it. So don't let that throw you off if you happen to be using a multicolored yarn like that. So now that we have our full 24 stitches, remembering to do 1 more double crochet in that last stitch, you will then skip over your original chain and go to our first stitch. We are going to slip stitch into that. That means we stick our hook in without any extra yarn, yarn over, grab the yarn, pull it through, and pull it all the way through. Yay! Now we are going to chain up 2. So put the yarn over, 1 and 2. We're going to continue in a similar manner. 1 double crochet goes into that first stitch there, so make sure you yarned over. Hook goes in, grab the yarn or yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. Now we are going to double crochet 2 times in the next stitch. So, or actually, yes, we are going to do 2 double crochet in the next stitch. 1 and 2. Now we are going to do 1 double crochet in the next stitch, just 1. So yarn over, go in, grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we do 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And again in the same stitch. Yarn over, go into our loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we will do a single double crochet in the next one. Yarn over, go into our stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And we are going to continue this pattern all the way around. It's going to be 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, all the way till the end where we'll meet up and go from there. See you in just a minute or 2. So we have finished up this next round, and you should have a total of 36 stitches. And remember, counting them, you can spread them apart and you can see the individual stitches, or you can count from above. We have 36. If you're not sure, pause the video, count. It's the best way to just make sure that you are staying on track. We're going to go on to the next row. And same thing, we are going to skip over our chain section and go right into our first stitch there. So going in, we are going to do a slip stitch. I grab my yarn, pull it through everything that is on my hook. Ta-da! Now, you may have guessed it, chain up 2. 1, 2. And we're going to, the next row will be similar. Basically, these are all going to be increase rows for the first little bit. So what that means is we will do things where we'll have 2 double crochet in a space, and then we'll do so many just individual double crochets as we go. 1 double crochet coming up. So yarn over, put the yarn into our stitch, grab our yarn, pull it through. We have our 3 loops there. Yarn over, pull through the top 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2. Now we are going to do a single double crochet, or I should say an individual double crochet in the next stitch. Yarn over, go into our stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. Ta-da! Now we go into the next one. In the next stitch we are going to put 2 double crochet. Yarn over, go on in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Double crochet again in that same stitch. So yarn over, go into our stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now we have 2 stitches there. Single individual double crochets in the next 2 stitches. Yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, another double crochet in the next stitch. Yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now we're going to put 2 double crochet into the next stitch. Yarn over, go into our stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 stitch loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, go back into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yay! We are going to continue in this pattern all the way around. So what that means is we're going to do 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. And we will keep doing that all the way around our growing circle. And at the end, you should have 48 double crochet. So I will meet you at the end and we'll compare and go on from there. So coming back, I have finished my next round. So we should have a total of 48 stitches. I counted mine to make sure I have 48. You should also make sure that you do. And you can see our circle is definitely getting a little bit bigger. And I do have a tape measure here. So this is something that if you are using either a different sized hook or a different size yarn, then, and you want to make sure that you're matching the same sizes that I have, what you can do is, if I can get this out, you can of course measure to see where you're at. Right now mine is measuring about 5 1/4, somewhere in there, 5 1/2, about 5 1/4 inches. So that is something, if you're using different size hook or yarn, you could compare and see where yours is at this point. So we are going to keep going though on to our next round. Again, skipping over our original chain, go into our first stitch and grab the yarn with we're doing a slip stitch, pull that through everything on the hook. Yay! Now we're going to, as before, chain up 2. 1, 2. All right, now we're going to double crochet, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and we are going to do another double crochet, yarn over, go into the next stitch. So this is next stitch, all right, and go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Good. We're going to do 1 more double crochet by itself. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Great, so you should have 3 double crochet in 3 separate stitches. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do 2 double crochet into the next stitch. Yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Doing that again in the same stitch. Yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yay! Now you can see we have our stitches. Now let's say you're trying to do this and you don't want to bother rewinding the video and you just want to remember where your stitches are. You don't remember how many we're doing before we do the double crochet. What you can do is you can look at the previous row. So here I didn't count, I just went ahead and did double crochets, but we are basically increasing in the second stitch of the previous row where we had 2 double crochet. So in the previous row I did 1, 2, then 2. So I am going to put 2 double crochet in the second of them. And I realize that might be confusing, but for some of you that might be a preferable way than just counting 1, 2, 3, doubles, 3, and so on. So now I did crochet 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to do 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Yarn over, go into the stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. And once more. And we have our 2 double crochet. And we're going to continue in this pattern around, and it's going to be 3 double crochet in 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. Then it's going to be 2 double crochet in the next one. Then 1, 2, 3, 2 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 2 double crochet, all the way around to the end. And you should end up with about 60 double crochet stitches at the end of this round. So I will meet you back up there. Now I finished up this next round, which if you are keeping track of rounds, There should be about five rounds, and you should be able to count them if you can see your stitches. So here you can see we have 1, and it's sort of an indentation where we have our next row of stitches, 2, indentation 3, indentation 4, indentation 5. So I've now finished round 5, which gave me 60 double crochet stitches all the way around. Now here you have the choice, depending on your head shape or whomever's head shape you are making this for. You can either make this another section larger, which I actually am going to do because I've run into the issue of making hats a little bit snug, which I have a smaller head, so that's fine, but then I find other people don't fit into them as well. So I'm going to do one more row expanding, but if you have a smaller head and you're making this for yourself, just meet me up at the end of the next row and we will go on with the rest of the pattern. For now though, I'm going to do one more expanding row because I want mine just a little bit bigger. So picking up my yarn, I skip over our initial chain, go into the first stitch, we're doing a slip stitch. My hook goes in, I pull my yarn through and through. Now we chain up 2. 1, 2. And I'm going to do 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 double crochet in each of them. So we have 1, we have 2, oops, and we have 3, and we have 4. I am moving a little bit faster because at this point I think you are pretty familiar with doing our double crochets. I'll review them again now that we're going to put 2 double crochet. Continue our increase. So yarn over, go into our stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. Doing that again, another double crochet, yarn over, go into that same stitch, grab our yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. And you are going to continue this pattern all the way around, doing 4 double crochet, and then in the 5th stitch, which would be the stitch after the 4, you will do 2 double crochet in that stitch. And we are going to increase this way, and I will meet you at the end of the round. I have finished the next round and I have 72 stitches. That's about what you should have as well. Now we are going to continue on, and if you felt you wanted the slightly smaller hat, then welcome back to the show, if you will. We're going to go, and now we are going to be done expanding this hat. And just in case, as I had said before, if you're using a different sized yarn or a different size hook, then for measurement, this is roughly 7.5 inches, slightly more than that. So that's where I'm at right now. What I'm going to do is we are going to continue. This will not get much, this isn't going to get wider. We're going to start making this sort of head shape or onto the hat portion that goes down your head. So skip over the initial chain, go into your first stitch, and we're joining this with a slip stitch. Grab your yarn, pull through and through. Yay! I'm going to chain up 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to yarn over and do a double crochet in this stitch here. Now what we are going to do is we are just going to do 1 double crochet in every stitch along the hat. So you will end up with 72, or if you're doing the slightly smaller one, it'll be 60, or if you do a larger one, I think it's a full 80 then, if you're doing the next size up. But I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But you will have the same number of stitches in it as you did in this previous row. So it's going to be 1 double crochet in each stitch around. So I am going to let you do these on your own. Quick review in case you forgot. Yarn over, hook goes into the stitch, yarn over, pull the yarn through, yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. All right, and I will meet you at the end of this round, and we will join this together and go on from there. I've finished my next round, and like I said, if you are unsure about how many stitches you should have, it should be the same as your previous round, whether it's 60, whether it's 72, or like I said, I think it is 80 for the next size up, but it might be, I might be off on that count, but you should have the same as your previous round. And you'll notice mine, it's starting to curve a little bit. You'll have to decide which side you like the look of better to go on the visible, the outside for everyone else to see. But we are going to slip stitch and join our round. So again, you're skipping over the first chain, go into the first stitch and insert your hook, yarn over, pull that through and through, ta-da, and chain up 2. Now I am actually going to extend a bit of trust to all of you lovely hard workers out there who are attempting to make this hat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you go on your own. You are just double crocheting now in the stitches across, and we're going to do this for a few rows. I'm going to say we'll do this for another, let's say another 6 rows. And what that means is when we get to the end, we will join with a slip stitch as we've been doing, and then we will start the next round, which will be chain 2, double crochet in each stitch all the way around. And we're going to be doing this for a few rows. There will be no change whatsoever in this. So if you are unsure about how to double crochet, you can rewind this video, or you can go back and view one of my earlier videos which explain that. And same thing with the slip stitch and all. Now, if you are feeling very comfortable with your stitches and you're thinking, I am very comfortable, which I know I just said that, and that you want this to be a little more varied in look, you don't want it to only be double crochets, you could of course switch up and do a row of single crochet in between the double crochets, and that gives it just, the look is a little different. It plays with your eye a little bit more nicely. Or you could do single crochet, then a half double crochet, then a double crochet. These are all stitches that I've gone over with you in other videos. So I will leave the links to my previous videos with a note about which is which, so if you want to learn that. But I will just be doing regular double crochets the whole way. So I am going to meet you back after I've done, I'm going to say 6 rows in total, but we'll see. I might stop sooner just because this is bulky yarn and I need to see if I'll have enough. But my plan, 6 rows, I will meet you back up and we'll see where we're doing and what the size is. We'll join it and if we need to add or take away. So I recommend doing the same, and I'll meet you in a few minutes. So I'm back, and as you can see, I have crocheted many rows. I will tell you though that as I was going, I actually made a slight mistake, and what that was is I was going along and I ran out of yarn, so I actually tore out most of the hat and went back to the rows when we were making the size, and I ended up stopping with the 60 count row rather than going on to the 72 count row. So my hat is a little narrower. It's essentially about an adult small size. I mean, I guess you could starch this and it'd become a bowl. But I just finished up the extra rows that give it length as I instructed you to do. And for rows that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 13 rows that I have crocheted on this. And now I only have a little bit of yarn left. So I will tell you now, if you get the same exact yarn that I had, then you may want to consider getting more than one skein if you're making a hat that's more than the adult small. And we are going to finish this off by just doing a single crochet row. So now that we've joined, we've gone through all of our rows, I'm going to chain up 1, and I'm going to go into our loop, grab my yarn, pull it through. There's 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull that through. Go into the stitch, grab the yarn, pull that through, yarn over, pull that through. And I'm going to continue to do a single crochet in every stitch around my hat, and this is just finishing it off. There's lots of different ways you could finish off a hat. You could do something called a picot stitch, which makes it kind of look like little triangles hanging off. You could do slip stitches all the way across, and that gives it sort of a closed looking edge. There are so many things you could do, but I am just doing a very simple, very basic hat so that you can get the feel of how to do this. And I will meet you up at the end after I have finished single crocheting all of these. See you soon. I have gone through, I have single crocheted in each stitch, and I am right at the end of my yarn, as you can see. And this is one, like I said, preference of what you want. I could go through and probably slip stitch in each stitch, but for me, I don't see the point. I will use this to help with something else. I don't know what yet. But here I am, I'm right at the end, and I am going to, just as we've done before, slip stitch in our first stitch. So I go in, grab my yarn, pull it through, and I need to pull it through my other loop. Now I'm going to chain up one and pull my yarn all the way through my stitch. I know, it seems a little silly on my end, but hopefully either you will have a lot more that it makes more sense to cut sooner, or you'll have a lot less in the perfect amount. All right, now I am going to cut the end and set this aside. So now you have a finished hat, which is awesome. Well, almost finished. You do have tails to tuck in, which I will be honest, a lot of times when I make hats for myself, I don't tuck in the one in the inside because you don't see that. But we probably should. So I will at least tuck in this one here on the outside. Now, this video, I'm sure, is already getting a good size length, and my end is a lot of loose hair, so I'm going to trim that. Anyway, so this video is already, I'm sure, getting to be a good size length. So I am going to put in another video that I'll release pretty soon, a few ways that you could dress up or spruce up your hat. And this is going to be, so in my next video, I will do things like go over how to make a simple flower. Actually, I might just start my flower series, I'm not sure, but how to make a simple flower, how to make a quick tassel, how to make a pom-pom. I'll do all that, and that will be just so if you want, you can finish off this hat by making it just one step fancier. And there we go, my yarn's going through. I tucked it in. Remember, when you are tucking in tails, the main point is so that the hat or whatever item you have crocheted looks nicer. This way, which, there we go, I don't have any loose ends sticking out that you can see. And I will put a picture on the screen of me wearing the hat, which I will insert that right about here. Ta-da! And so you should feel really good. You just made a hat, and that's awesome. So this is my hat, and if we count the rows, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 if I count the last single crochet row. And this was all double crochet plus chains plus our slip stitches and our single crochet. Those are all the stitches you need. And this, once I add in our next video on how to make your items a little fancier with those little doodads, like a pom-pom on top possibly, or a flower in the front, then that will conclude our series on how to crochet with just basic crocheting. And this is a good introduction to anyone who's interested. So I would love to have your feedback of whether you learned something, whether you thought these videos were helpful or useful. If you found that you were able to follow my instructions, that is great. So next video will be how to spruce up your hat, and the video directly after that I'm excited for because that's going to involve making a very special square. So things to look forward to. Please subscribe, like, share this video out if you found it helpful, and please leave a comment. I would absolutely love to hear from you. If you like the crochet videos, if you would rather see some other crafting. I've been spending a lot of time sewing lately, so that's something I could work in if you were interested. So please let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for crafting along with me. Thank you for coming on this adventure. And thank you for making a hat. I hope yours looks just as fabulous. I'm sure it does. And I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.